I mean, I agree with Coach. To give up 100 points, or 100 plus points without Durant, we didn't play any defense. We didn't get a stop at all. Early in the first quarter, we were just trading baskets, and then once we stopped scoring, they continued to score.
I know you guys want to win, but I mean, season high, 8 assists. It's only been 4 games. Do you have some kind of, satisfaction after tonight?
No.
Consciously, no, but something happened. You guys all saw the game. It wasn't great. Thanks for staying for the whole game.
It's not getting any prettier. The Celtics lose to the Thunder without Kevin Durant, without Russell Westbrook, 101-83. This is the Garter Report on Celtics blog and CLNS Radio. Evans Clinchy, Jimmy Toscano from Celtics Blogger here. My name is Jared Weiss.
Hi, Jared.
This is going to be short. Hi, Jimmy. Because there's not much to talk about in this one.
No,
Serge Ibaka was awesome, and even though Kevin Durant wasn't here, even though Carmelo Anthony was scoring 62, or was it 63 or 62?
62, yeah.
62. The scoring was still coming for the Thunder. Evans, Ibaka drops 21. Jeremy Lamb scores. Reggie Jackson had a pretty good game.
Yeah.
Celtics, Brad Stevens said that he would be very disappointed if his team did not take the Thunder seriously tonight. And Gerald Wallace laughed that off. But it seems like in the second half, that might have been the issue.
I don't know. It's hard to say what their mindset was emotionally, psychologically.
Get in their minds.
I'll try, but it's really hard, I don't know. Maybe they're just not as good as the Thunder. Is it that a possibility? I don't know.
Hot take.
I know that's super hot, but even without Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook, the Thunder have a lot of really good pieces.
Yeah,
and without Durant, they're lacking a scoring punch. But Jeremy Lamb knows how to score. Reggie Jackson knows how to score. They still have guys that can step up and fill those roles. This is just a team that executes really well, and they've been really building kind of a cohesion with all these guys on their roster that the Celtics just don't have right now because they're just so scattered with who's in the lineup and who's out, and they just don't really have it together. This Thunder team's got it together. They've had Ibaka and Perkins and Cephalosha playing together for so many years now that it just kind of clicks, and they don't need to, labor too hard to get their points. It just kind of falls into place for them.
Yeah, no Durant, no Westbrook. Scott Brooks, his playbook on the cover, it said, "Do not open in case of emergency, unless it's an emergency."
Yeah.
Literally, I don't know what plays they ran tonight.
This is the first time ever the Thunder have played with no Durant, no Westbrook.
You had to dust off these plays that don't include...
Harry Jones III started tonight.
Don't include Durant or Westbrook,
Jones.
and sure enough, they dropped 100 on the Celtics. There's no Bradley. You got Rondo who's going half.
Yeah.
Bayless. You get Sellinger with 4 fingers now. So listen, the Celtics are banged up. They're undermanned to begin with to start the year. So you kind of thought that without Durant, this would be an even game, or the Celtics might even have a chance to win.
Yeah.
With Durant, there was no chance. But when he was out, that was a bummer, by the way. No Durant tonight.
The second time in Boston we've had no Durant.
Second time.
There's a lot of national media here tonight just to see Kevin Durant.
And a few of them just left. They were like, okay, well, he's not here. I'm not gonna stay for this.
Adrian Woj was still here. I think I saw him.
He stayed. Give him respect for staying. But a few other guys, unnamed, they left. Which I can't really blame him for. It was an ugly game. Looking back, I wish I left. And actually, Chris Humphries thanked us all for staying after the game.
That was pretty nice of him.
Little did he know we had no choice, but it was.
We got a show to do, Chris. We got a show.
Yeah, it was an ugly one, and I have a feeling it won't be the last ugly one. But what can you do?
Well, I'm glad you stayed so we could do the show as a full team for the first time in a while.
That's right.
But friends forever. Jeff Green.
At least until the end of the show.
So Jeff Green went 1 for 8. From deep tonight.
Forgot he was alive.
He started.
Jeff Green. Oh,
it started like it was going to be a repeat of that Wizards game where he takes 20+ shots, but he got really cold from deep. He was cold the entire game from deep, and that energy that he had really died off in the second half.
We need to trick him into thinking that he's in DC still, because I feel like when he's back there,
he's impressing the Georgetown guys,
in front of his
Absolutely.
some family and some friends and all that stuff. He gets that different mindset and going in and we're like, I'm the man, So I thought tonight, maybe it had something to do with Durant not playing. I think some of these guys that looked at the Thunder and said, they are better teams fundamentally maybe, but there's not that star player that's sticking out that they want to shut down, quote unquote. Mm-hmm. So I think maybe that had something to do with
Perkins.
Besides Perkins.
Besides
aside.
Yeah.
Who had 6 points tonight. Wow. Which I think is around his average.
Yeah.
But
more or less.
Maybe more, actually. But anyways, so yeah, that's just my take about the whole Jeff Green thing. He's a streaky guy. You already know that. he's going to show up to games, he's not going to show up to games. And unfortunately, he didn't show up tonight and nobody else did. So it's a problem.
Yep, that'll happen.
Okay, let's just do the awards now.
Sure.
Yeah, why do 2 videos on one game?
Wait, real quick, what about Rondo? How do you think he looked tonight?
He had a season high for assists tonight with 8. Isn't that how Rondo wants people to measure his success, right? That's what it was last year before he went down.
It was.
Yeah.
I think he did some other thing, obviously. I don't think he looked great. I think he looked a little bit better in spurts. I think he looked a little more maybe aware out there at times. And
he looks more spry.
Yeah, he had a couple nice passes. It looked like the game off helped a little bit with his conditioning or wind or something like that. But he's still nowhere near where he needs to be or could be. And
well, it's also just like a lot of Rondo's strengths are mental. Like a lot of his brilliance is just knowing his teammates' tendencies and knowing where to find them places to score. And he was so good for so many years with Kevin Garnett, with Paul Pierce, because he knew their tendencies, he knew how to get them the ball in possession to score. And he's got entirely new teammates, and it's going to take him some time now to just kind of figure them out mentally as much as the physical part.
Right.
So, I mean, I think Brad Stevens said after the game that like he's still in the early part of his preseason schedule right now. And, think about what NBA teams are like in the preseason. They're kind of still learning their teammates' tendencies and trying to figure out how to play with each other.
They're in rough shape.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what Rondo is right now, mentally as much as physically. And it's hard to watch that in process because they're losing games in the regular season while it happens. Yeah. But we kind of knew this was going to happen.
Yeah, I think it'll take until at least after the All-Star break until we start to see maybe some signs of real improvement from him.
And tonight he had 3 guys on the active roster that he had played with before. He's on an entirely new team.
He's played with Chris Humphries a little bit, if you know what I mean.
Bass Green and
Jared Sullinger.
Yeah,
there you go.
Which was only...
Who wasn't very noticeable tonight.
Yeah.
He's played with Chris Johnson, too, but it's a different Chris Johnson.
Okay.
And don't forget, he played with Sully only...
All Chris Johnsons are the same people, as we all know.
How many Chris Johnsons have there been in the NBA in the last 5 years?
75.
We've all been on the Celtics.
Have they all been in the Celtics?
No.
Okay, we'll think about it after the show.
There was one Chris Johnson.
Okay, just quick Baller of the Night awards. Evans.
I'll go Jeremy Lamb. He had 15 points in the first half. I mean, the Thunder really pulled away from the Celtics in the second quarter of this game, and Lamb was the big reason why. All the scoring punch they lacked with Durant out of the game, Jeremy Lamb doesn't make up all of it, of course, but he really gave them a lot of extra offensive punch they needed. So, nice game for Jeremy Lamb.
Agreed. I'll go with Reggie Jackson. He's stepped up admirably in place of Russell Westbrook since he went down, and I think that was a big question. How would the Thunder fare without their star point guard? Is it just going to be Durant? But no, I think that Jackson's really kind of stepped into that number 2 role in a lot of games. And I think it was against the Celtics in OKC. He had a career game, I believe. I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but in the 20s in points scored, in upper 20s, I think. Tonight, obviously, not as much. 14 points, 8 assists, 4 rebounds. But I just think that he's a really great backup point guard, and he could probably be a starter in the league someday.
Okay, so for me, Serge Ibaka is my Baller of the Night. Only 28 minutes played, scores 21 points. He hit all of his shots near the rim, which is, what more could you ask for your big man than to hit all the shots near the rim? And he got that corner 3 that he's become very good at. A couple shots from the top of the key, out in the left wing. He kind of covered all of his best components of his game. Was just on top of them tonight.
He got a lot of layups that Chris Humphries was kind of watching happen. So that was nice for him.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's it for this segment. Next up, for part 2, Sunday. It's the big one. Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett return. What do we think?
Game of the year.
What do the players think about the game of the year? We'll be right back, and this is the Garden Report on Celtics Blog and CLNS Radio.
We just made jump shots first quarter. We weren't engaged the whole night. That was my take on it. We were throwing in jump shots, which is great. We're very capable of doing that, but they were scoring every time down the floor too. And so, it was clear that we needed to change our ways. Otherwise, it wasn't going to be a very fun night, to me at least. And I just didn't think we ever got fully engaged. But today counts as a bad night. That was not a good performance.